Hey guys, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the next game review, and man, to tell you all that I am ecstatic to be talking about this particular game with you all today is such a huge understatement. Like I had mentioned in my review of the first Assassin's Creed game, with the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows just a few weeks away, I thought I'd take the time leading up to the release of said game to talk about the first three numbered installments of the Assassin's Creed franchise. I reviewed the first game just last week, and now guys, for this week, it is time for me to talk about a game that I hold in high regard, and that is Assassin's Creed 2. Now, cut to 2009, I'm in high school, and I buy this game opening weekend. I fell in love with this game so much, and I was so locked into this game, that the weekend I got it, I did not do anything else but bury myself in Assassin's Creed 2 in the world. To say that I fell in love with Assassin's Creed 2 is such a huge understatement, and I declared this statement maybe a few years later, but I said that Assassin's Creed 2 was one of my favorite games of all time. Cut to over 10 years later, if you can believe that, guys. It's been over 10 years since this game came out. I believe about 14 years? Maybe 14, 15 years, somewhere right around that. It's absolutely freaking crazy how time flies. But anyways, I dove back into Assassin's Creed 2 to see, okay, does this game still hold up, and does it retain the magic and the overall wonder, and do I still have my love for this game? Guys, simply put, I love this game, and guys, it is time to delve into the reasons why not only I believe that Assassin's Creed 2 is, in the words of Cliff Blazinski, not only a bigger, better, and a more badass game, a badass sequel, but why it is one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah! Getting into everything that I absolutely love about Assassin's Creed 2. Starting off, I'm actually not going to talk about the art direction. I'm actually going to save that for later on. But going on to one of the first big improvements on Assassin's Creed 2, that is the storytelling. The storytelling in Assassin's Creed 2, right from the get-go, puts you in a game, in a story that from the start has elevated stakes. I mean, to say that the stakes in this game are way more elevated, it's like that the development team at Ubisoft took what was already a cool story, don't get me wrong, but they took everything that they learned from that first story and they elevated it, not just in terms of the world going on in the world of Assassin's Creed, but also the stakes and the characters themselves. Not only does Desmond, right from the get-go, have something more to fight in this game, but also the story for Ezio, who, if you ask me, to this day, is the best assassin in the Assassin's Creed franchise. Ezio, by the way, voiced incredibly by Roger Craig Smith. I cannot begin to describe how much I love Roger Craig Smith's performance as Ezio. Roger Craig Smith not only brings charisma, energy, bravado, but he brings this great sense of likability to Ezio, especially knowing of what this character is fighting for after the opening couple of hours of Assassin's Creed 2, which, by the way, the opening hour of Assassin's Creed 2, holy crap, is it still incredible to this day. Roger Craig Smith, if you ask me, still to this day gives the best performance out of all the assassins for Assassin's Creed. Knowing how this game starts off as story and how it continues on to a story, it's a more personal story that once again, once it gets to a certain point, has more elevated stakes. Now with that being said, and do not get me wrong, Altair's story is a very cool story. It is a great story of a haughty assassin, of a hot-headed assassin that must relearn the ways of why he is an assassin, relearn the code of the Brotherhood. It is a great story. At the same time, I feel like that the story of Assassin's Creed 1 just wasn't quite there. And Altair, well, you guys know how I feel about his character. Ezio's story and Ezio's character is already leaps and bounds over Altair. And once again, I have to praise Roger Craig Smith's performance as Ezio, giving one of the most charismatic and such a great energetic performance as this character. And by the way, something else that I love about this game is that there is way more Ezio in this game compared to Desmond, rather than being a balance between the modern day story and the assassin story. Now, with that being said, and do not get me wrong, when you go back to Desmond and you see the effects of what the Animus is doing to him as he is spending more and more time in the Animus trying to develop the skills that Ezio required, the stuff with him I think is very, very cool. But one of the smartest things that Ubisoft did in terms of developing the second game is that you spend way more time with the interesting character. And once again, not taking anything away from Desmond, because Noel North does a great job of voicing Desmond. However, what is the main reason why people play Assassin's Creed? To play as the assassin. And once again, not only do they have an even better story, but they have an even better assassin than Ezio. And I could just gush about how much I love Ezio. Going on to the next thing that I thought was not only such an improvement, but it improves tenfold over the first Assassin's Creed game, and that is the gameplay. The parkour, the combat, the overall gameplay feel of Assassin's Creed 2, they doubled down so much on from that first game. It is absolutely crazy. I mean, going from that first game into the second game in a matter of days, just feeling the overall flow, going from parkour to combat, it is absolutely crazy how smooth the transition is from the first two games alone. Ezio is not only so much smoother to control, but everything just feels 10 times better with Ezio on this game. Now sure, and do not get me wrong, are there still spots where Ezio might be a pain in the ass to control? Sure, but that's just such a tiny nitpick. Otherwise, the gameplay and the parkour is so much more improved, especially given the playground of Italy, of Florence, of Venice. Oh my god, the playground of going around, jumping across the rooftops, just flying everywhere as Ezio, and just going with the speed of light almost. Holy crap, this game is such a absolute freaking blast to play still to this day, yes. And not to mention as well that the combat, like I just mentioned, is so much better this time around. And not to mention as well, the combat is not only way better, but it has a lot more style to it, especially knowing that the new weapons that you have. Not only do you have a gun to play with, which I'll be honest with you guys, don't use the gun so much unless if you absolutely have to, although it does come in handy, but still, don't use it unless if you absolutely have to. Throwing knives, the kills, the executions, the dodges, the counters, spam the counter button like your life depends on it, because believe me guys, when I say this, you will get your ass saved so many times in situations. The combat regardless, guys, is so much more fun, it's so much more satisfying, and everything just has this great, satisfying, stylish feel to it. It is so freaking cool. Something else that I gotta talk about, and once again, another huge improvement from Assassin's Creed 1 are the side activities, the side quests. Unlike Assassin's Creed 1, where at a certain point where I kept on hearing, well, that one coach I'll play right here. That will cost you your life. You don't have to do that every 5 seconds, which I really appreciate, even though don't get me wrong, I enjoyed saving citizens' lives, but every time I heard, steal from me that will cost your life, it drove me crazy. So what do we have here instead? Not only do we have Fight Club missions, we don't talk about Fight Club, I had to do that reference, sorry guys. One of my favorite add-ons in Assassin's Creed 2 is upgrading the Villa. The upgrading of the Villa was so much fun only because not only does it help you acquire different things, but it looks even better. The Villa missions, I actually thought added so much more fun and so much more variety to this game. Not only do I feel like the activities added even more variety to the game, but it never felt like a chore to me, which is absolutely incredible given how big this game is. Another big improvement from Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2, the music. The music in Assassin's Creed 2 kicks so much ass, especially when we're doing your getaways, not your getaways, but your escapes. Or one of my favorite musical beats of Assassin's Creed 2 is those bits where you hear the boom, 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 as you're trying to get around a certain area and not get detected or not attract attention. And not to mention as well, the use of guitars in areas I thought was just absolutely incredible. I cannot begin to describe how great the music is in Assassin's Creed 2. Going on to easily one of the biggest improvements of Assassin's Creed 2, and I know I could have talked about this earlier, but I decided to save this for last this time around, and that is the overall art direction. Assassin's Creed 2 not only looks better than that first game tenfold, but in terms of the color palette, they expand the color palette, and my god, this game looks great, and even more so on Xbox Series X. This game looks so good, and by the way, once again, turn off HDR and just put on the frame boost, I think it is. Exploring the cities of Venice and Florence. Holy crap, this game still looks so good. The expanded color palette makes this game not only look so much more stylish, but it gives this world so much more of an identity compared to that first Assassin's Creed game. To say the least, guys, Assassin's Creed 2 looks absolutely amazing. It still holds up like a fine wine to this day.
Ah! God damn it!
The one issue that I have with this game, and I'm telling you all, this is me reaching for any issues. Like, this is literally the tiniest nitpick, and that is that some of the models look slightly outdated, but really, this is such a nitpick, and it's me reaching for issues in a game that I absolutely adore. So overall, Assassin's Creed 2 is not only a bigger game than the first Assassin's Creed game, but it is also an even better game than the first Assassin's Creed in every single sense possible. From the storytelling, the gameplay, music, the art direction, just overall everything. Assassin's Creed 2 is not only an even better game in every sense it possibly could be than the first Assassin's Creed game, but this game is one of my favorite games of all time. All in all, I'm gonna give Assassin's Creed 2 an 11 out of 10. Assassin's Creed 2 not only holds up and has aged so well like a fine wine, but it still retains the effect, the magic, and how great it is still many years later. And that, guys, is gonna wrap it up for my review of Assassin's Creed 2. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If so, please hit the like button, or if you dislike this review, hit the dislike button. If you guys want to hear my previous 2 reviews, please go to the left or right side of the screen. And of course, guys, until my next review or video goes live, I will see you all next time.